Hey everyone, my name is Michelle Ngome, your networking coach. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to the New Year, New Network, New Path webinar. You're probably catching this video of online, whether it's my website, YouTube, or even my podcast, Networking with Michelle. I just want to thank you for being here, and I hope you get something new out of this webinar. I know for a lot of us, it's a new year, so happy new year. I know for a lot of us, we're creating new goals, new resolutions, maybe the word of the year, things that we're going to take action on. And I want to help you with that and kind of shift the focus a little bit differently as and planning is important, but showing you other ways to incorporate things into your planning. So if you have pencil, pen, paper, take some notes and let's jump in. So by now it's January 5th, so you probably already have a resolution. You have your goals in place. And if you haven't, just take a moment to jot some of those things down. Is it writing a book? Is it getting a promotion? Is it creating that business on the side? Or maybe it's leaping into full time entrepreneurship. Is it losing 10 to 15 pounds this year? Maybe it's becoming a more supportive husband or wife, spouse. Maybe it's moving into a different city, across country, from Houston to California to DC. What are some of those things that have been on your mind for the past couple of months that you want to make it a goal this year? So take a moment to write that down. And of course, what are you most excited about learning when it comes to networking? What are you struggling with? Okay. And I'm hoping to cover that, but in the event, feel free to ask me a question and either in the box or via Twitter. Just reach out to me. I'm definitely available. And you are in the right place if you are looking to connect and create dynamic relationships. I love networking. And the reason why I love networking is because I am truly fascinated by people. We all have stories to share. That's why I think everyone should write a book. But you have to have good, positive relationships with people in order for you to move forward and, of course, accomplish your goals. So today we're going to discuss the plans and goals. We actually touched some of that briefly. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to create your goals. A lot of that's going on right now. I just want to go over how to have a plan and assist you with those goals when it comes to networking. Having an accountability partner, creating a community, and of course, there will be an offer at the end. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Michelle Ngome. I am a networking coach. But before that, my background is actually in finance. I was fortunate to work with Citigroup for about a year, JP Morgan Chase for a couple of years when it comes to banking, consumer banking. And then I went off to Investco Investment Services, which is a mutual fund company. So, from credit, consumer lending, banking, mutual funds, I've been exposed to a little bit of everything in finance and I actually love it. Great industry. I learned a lot. I was fortunate to jump in that industry in my 20s, which definitely saved me from spending money like crazy. And I wouldn't take that moment back for anything. And just to dive in a little bit deeper, I it took me a couple of years to get my bachelor's degree. I was pretty much working in finance, struggling with college, and eventually I got my degree in finance. And I thought it was going to be easy. I had all this work experience. All I needed was a degree to allow me to qualify for these promotions, these management positions. More importantly, the money, right? You're pursuing those higher titles because you need more money to live off of and to just have a decent lifestyle, right? But that wasn't the case. I got the degree and I was stuck. I couldn't get those easy jobs. that I thought was going to be qualified with my work experience. Chase had laid me off at the time. It's hard to deal with, but it was kind of the best thing because it allowed me to focus on my last semester of school. But it was really hard for me to get back into the workforce with my degree, at least for the positions I was applying for. And I didn't know what to do. And everyone's, well, you need a network, but no one's telling you how, right? Everyone's telling you why, but no one's telling you uh, how to network, right? Or how to be the effective networker, as they call it. As cliche it is true. And I was stuck. I didn't have a mentor. I had all these questions, but I didn't. Who was I going to talk to? My family, my friends, they were cool, but they were in different industries. Especially with my friends, were in the same age, probably going through the same cycle. Where a lot of my friends graduated before me, so they had the degree, but they didn't have the work experience. And I felt I was a little bit better with both, but I was still stuck. And I didn't know what to do. Network, network, network. That's what everyone's telling you. But I needed growth. I was looking for growth, personal and professional. I was looking for, of course, career opportunities, but I lacked a support system. And the way I was able to get through that is obviously I needed to build my network. I started working for Invesco, a great company, and I was there for a couple of years, about 2 years, I think, overall. And even with that, I was still kind of trying to find my balance with how to do things there. And I was wasting my money, my time, my gas going to these networking events, trying to find the right platforms, the right people. And I was getting frustrated. And I told myself one day, it's like, Michelle, if you go into another event, you have to talk to someone. You have to talk to at least one person and just go from there. And that's what I did. I spoke to one person, don't even remember this person, but I spoke to one person and I did that for several weeks. Excuse me. Did that for several weeks. And before I knew it, I started having fun. I was involved. The time went by, years went by, and people were kind of like, Michelle, how do you know so many people? And I didn't even realize it, right? I felt like I was still in my natural element. And people were coming up to me asking me questions. How can I start a conversation? How do I close a conversation? How do I follow up with a person? What do you think about LinkedIn? And I was like, wow, I guess in hindsight, I have built a network. And I want to encourage you to examine your current network, right? And see where those valuable people are that you've met throughout the years. But I built a network and I didn't even realize it. And I was just going through the motion. I went from being a member to organizations to serving on the board for those same organizations. I got a promotion and some pay increases at my job when I was at Invesco. I was getting involved with the employee resource groups at Invesco. And I felt like my life was, I'm not going to say complete, but I was having fun. I was really enjoying it. I enjoyed my job. I enjoyed the people I work with. I had a great life and support system at work as well as outside of work. And a lot of people can't say that. And a lot of people, their network is limited. But I felt like I had a community network. I had my corporate network, and I was happy because I realized I was connecting and creating not just relationships, but opportunities for other people. And that's what it's really about. Hello, and welcome to the New Year, New Network, New Path webinar. I am Michelle Ngome. I will be walking you through this webinar. I am a networking coach. I love networking because I'm fascinated with people. And I know by now you're probably listening either online, my website, YouTube, or even my podcast. And of course, it's the top of the year and everyone's talking about goals. Let me show you how to create goals and plan. And I want to complement those efforts, right? So I'm not going to dive deep into creating goals in the process, but I want to show you how networking and relationships can help you accomplish your goals. Okay. So as stated, if you're online, you're going to see the slides. So please, you can go to michellgomez.com/webinar replay. You can have access to the slides, or you can follow me on LinkedIn, and those slides will be there. Okay. So what's your resolution? I'm sure by now you've already made your goals, plans, you've written those down, and you're in the fifth day, the first week of the new year. The energy and the momentum's there. And the goals can be anything from seeking a promotion, a new job, a new industry, graduating from grad school. I just had a speaking engagement yesterday, and a lot of the individuals there are talking about how they're going to be graduating from grad school in May and they're already looking for jobs, right? I believe everyone's going through a transition, and those goals kind of outline those transitions, that journey that we're going to. Maybe it's writing a book, starting that business on the side. Or maybe that business on the side is doing very well and you want to leap into entrepreneurship full time. So, what's your resolution this year? What's the word of the year? The theme of the year? What is that thing that you're going to focus on? Okay. So the brain is flowing, the juices are flowing. If you haven't already, make sure you get some pen and paper, jot these things down. Hopefully, take some good notes. Of course, the recording will be available, and then you will have access to the slides. Now you are in the right place if you are ready to connect and create dynamic relationships, right? So this is beyond networking events and exchanging business cards. But this is about seeking a connection and creating dynamic relationships starting in 2016 and beyond. So we're going to discuss the plans, the goals, the reason why you need an accountability partner, a community to support you, and there will be an offer at the end. So for those of you that don't know me, as stated, my name is Michelle Ngome. I'm a networking coach. Before that, I was in the corporate finance marketing background. I was fortunate to work with Citigroup, JP Morgan Chase, Invesco Investment Services. So consumer lending, consumer banking, and then Invesco is a mutual fund company. I've been very, very fortunate to touch on different things with the finance industry. And my belief at the time was when I got my degree, I was going to be able to apply for this great finance position, management job, earn more money, and pretty much stay in finance forever, right? I had great plans, lofty dreams when I was working at Chase and Invesco, great companies, by the way. Um, but that wasn't the case. I was actually stuck. I received my degree, my last semester in school. I was working at Chase. I got laid off, and it was hard, but I was like, maybe it's for the best. I had some money saved up, so I was like, let me just focus on graduating, and I did that. I graduated. I got a small gig at a regional bank, small bank, and I wasn't happy because with Chase, they really pride themselves with being first and a trendsetter with technology. And this bank, they were still using MS-DOS. And I know that MS-DOS was before my time. So it was a real struggle trying to get acclimated, excuse me, trying to get acclimated in their environment. So I was very frustrated. I didn't know what to do. I had all these questions like, this is not what I expected when I graduated with my degree in finance. How am I here? Why? And folks are always telling you you need a network, but no one's telling you how to network, right? Obviously, you have to network because you want to be exposed to opportunities, but no one's necessarily telling you how to network effectively, as cliche as it may be. And at that time, I had all these questions, but I didn't have anyone that could help me with those answers. I didn't have a mentor. My family, my friends were cool, but they were in different industries. My friends, they're my age, they have degrees, but they're going through the same struggles. And it's like, how am I going to have this professional development? How am I going to grow personally if I'm in this rut, if I'm in the hamster wheel? I need these opportunities. I need a better job. I need a support system. How am I going to get unstuck? And it's really complicated to get unstuck when you don't have a support system. And I knew I needed to build my network, but I didn't know how. I didn't know how to create those dynamic relationships. I was that person at an event, absolutely clueless. I was getting frustrated, have a great day at work, but a long day. And jump in the car. I'm tired. I'm hungry. And I'll go on the other side of town to a networking event and absolutely frustrated. Didn't know what I was doing there. Stay in the corner, holding my phone, scrolling through my Facebook timeline. Nothing has changed within the past 2 minutes. Absolutely clueless when it came to this networking thing. And if you're like most people, and I'm even guilty of this now, but it's hard to network because you are grouped with your friends, right? You walk in and you see pockets of people that already know each other spread out. And how are you going to interrupt that conversation? How are you going to penetrate that group? How are you going to network? Hi, my name is Michelle. Hey Michelle, we already know each other, but it's very frustrating, but it takes a lot of nerve and audacity to even approach the group. So we're not even talking about people being rude, but just to approach the group. Now I have a picture on here with a group of friends saying I only go to networking events to hang out with people I already know. So I'm sure some of us are even guilty on that on both sides of the fence. And I knew I needed to do something different. And I was okay, Michelle, you have to talk to at least one person the next time you go to an event. You have to find a way to get involved at work. And I did. And by this time I got hired at Invesco Investment Services, and they had an employee resource group where there was supportive community service, sports, things of that nature. Great organization. And so I got involved at work, got involved in the community, and before I knew it, my life began to transform. Um, I have a picture of me here with my kickball team at Invesco. We were called the American franchise. Some of the guys had jerseys from when they were playing basketball with the company. But anyways, we won. We won the kickball tournament, and I had my support team there, right? So the people I had started training with, and we break into teams later on, start moving around the company, and it was really good just to literally mix the business with pleasure, right? I don't have a problem hanging out with these group of people after work because we're still like-minded individuals. We enjoy the company. We want to pursue a career in finance. Had a great time, and eventually I was able to get pay increases at work, and then even a promotion. And it was just like, okay, I'm hitting my stride. I'm hitting my stride. I was able to sit on the board of two organizations, the Houston Area Urban League Young Professionals as a marketing co-chair, and then the Black MBA, National Black MBA Association Houston chapter as a corresponding secretary. And I also helped out with marketing. And it just felt good to gain that credibility and a bit of influence within the community, because I was networking. I began to show face. Um, and I didn't even realize it, right? People would just come up to me and, Michelle, how do you know so many people? And how do I start a conversation? How do I follow up with someone? And I was like, hey, I think I'm onto something, right? People were asking me to jump on their marketing projects on the side. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to start this business. So I started Line 25 Consulting. And it started out as a digital marketing firm, now kind of shifted, focusing on professional development, because eventually I wrote my book. A year into business, I wrote my book, Network, Navigate, and Nurture, The Equation to Strategic Networking. And all of those questions people started asking me, I sat down, I put some stuff together, and I wrote the book. It's just 50 pages, and I plan on revising it because I'm always in that state of learning. And then April 2015, I launched my podcast called Networking with Michelle, and I interview authors, entrepreneurs, even professionals, influencers on how has networking and strategic collaborations helped you with your career, and what do you have to say for other people, obviously the listeners, but other people that are struggling in this area, or maybe they don't see the benefit of networking. Maybe they feel like they have to do things alone. They don't have anyone around. And you can change that. And I feel like it's a very encouraging podcast to help you just break free and get out that shell. Now, I will say this. When I was struggling, one of the common books, popular books, was Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. Hope I'm saying his last name correctly. And I've been able to go back and reread it. But at the time, I couldn't relate to the book. And sometimes when it comes to networking, a lot of people are talking about building, 6-figure income, 7-figure income network. And don't get me wrong, we all want money. We all need money, right? Um, but you have to grow into some of those things, right? And you don't have to have this entry level network forever. But keep in mind that person that's sharing the cubicle, if they have a vision, you don't know who that person is going to become 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, right? So yeah, maybe it's 50, 60, 70, $80,000 right now, but you have no idea what business or what company they may be running in a couple of years from now. So keep that in mind when it comes to meeting people as well. So yes, I've had some good success over the past 2.5 years that I've been in business. But before that, I knew there was 3 things I had to do. When it came to networking, when I was stuck, I had to create a plan. I had to create a plan. Everyone talks about a business plan, a marketing plan, and I created a networking plan. And we're going to dive into that. Okay. I needed to be accountable. I needed to be held accountable. I got an accountability partner. And then, of course, with those 2 things in place, I was ready to take action. So, once again, what are your first quarter plans and your goals, right? What are your goals? You know what they are. I got this off of Fortune Cookie. Good luck is the result of good planning. Good luck is the result of good planning. And if you haven't already, I want to encourage you to read the book by T. Harv Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It's not enough to be in the right place at the right time. You must be the right person in the right place at the right time. So you have to be a valuable person when it comes to networking, right? Just can't go to these events aimlessly. Don't get me wrong, I still want you to have fun, but you can't go to these events aimlessly. So you have to have a plan. You have to create a networking plan. I'm going to just do a quick breakdown here of what that looks like. You want to start off with your goals and your objectives, and you've already have that, right? You already have that going into 2016. And we stated some examples earlier, but on here I have maybe you need more leads, appointments, you need to bring your income or revenue up, become profitable. Maybe you want to gain or grow your credibility and influence or collaborate with other people. So you have your goals. So who do you want to meet? Influencers. Who do you want to meet? And this can be broad, and sometimes you have to narrow it down or break it down into phases. And I can always help you with that. I believe you need to know who you're going to meet, who's your target audience, who's your ideal client. Because once you have that in mind, then you'll know where to go. So could these influencers be niche experts, early adopters, especially if you have products, C-level executives, mid-level management, the gatekeepers? The gatekeepers often go ignored, right? But a good secretary is going to know what their manager that executive is doing on a regular basis. And of course, what are your interests? Right? Some people forget that because when we think about networking, we think about the business professional. And lots of times, if you're interested in fitness, knitting, basket weaving, sports, whatever the other interests, you can still network in those areas of opportunities. So you want to find events or workshops, sidepreneur, entrepreneurship. Maybe you want to write a book, right? So maybe taking a creative writing class or some type of writing class, boot camp. You can network in that. You can get the information you need to put your book together, market your book, and then of course you're surrounded by like-minded people. The thing is, when it comes to interest, you have to be surrounded by like-minded people in order for you to have some of your best networking. And then from there, you're able to find the events or start narrowing down the events. Are you going to go to lunch and learns? Are you going to go to conferences? Are you going to join a professional organization? Do you need to take continuing education classes? Or maybe something very general by going to a meetup.com or eventbrite.com. And one thing I left on this slide deck, I didn't put the budget. Networking costs. Networking is a lifestyle and it can be very expensive. So you definitely want to incorporate a budget into your networking plan. Okay. So think about not just the price of the event, but think about parking, think about food, think about especially the major events, if there's galas, black tie events, your membership dues, tolls. If you're driving, I'm in Houston, we have tolls. Think about um, clothes, business professional clothes if you don't have any, or if you're making an industry switch, maybe you need to buy some new clothes. So think about that. Just think about having a budget when it comes to your networking plan as well. So once again, what are you going to do to reach your goals, right? We have the plan, we have our goals, we have a networking plan to complement on how we can attack our goals, right? On how we can build these relationships. Who are you going to get to assist you with your goals? And that's why it's important to that's why it's important to connect and create dynamic relationships. So with the networking plan, I mentioned how I had an accountability partner, or right before that, I mentioned how I had an accountability partner. And my brother, we actually have the same background when it comes to marketing, and we were both going through a similar transition. He had just moved to Houston from San Antonio, so he needed to become acclimated with the city since he hadn't been here since high school. He graduated in San Antonio, moved back home. Excuse me. And we held each other accountable and we divide and conquer the events. He was like, okay, well, I'm going to go to this, I'm going to go to that. And then we would jump on the phone later on that night or the next day, talk about events. We would swap contacts via email and be like, hey, I met this person. I think we can do something together, or this person can help you in this area. I had an accountability partner to move me forward. And I know there's a lot of statistics when it comes to people fall off of their New Year's resolution after 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and all that. I'm not going to go into that. But according to the American Society of Training and Development, it says the probability of completing a goal is 10% if you hear an idea, 40% if you decide when you will do it, 50% if you plan on how you will do it, 65% if you commit to someone else, and then 95% if you and your partner have an appointment together. Can you believe that? Just a 30% increase from going from, hey, let's be partners, to let's be partners that meets every Wednesday at 12 p.m. From 12 p.m. to 12:30, we'll touch base and see how much progress we made in a week. That's why coaching is so popular right now. People need to be held accountable. You want to track your progress. So think about it. Get an accountability partner. Hey, these are my goals. This is what I'm trying to do by December 2016. Can we meet once or twice a month to make sure I'm on track? Better yet, to make sure we are on track of reaching our goals. So, what is accountability? What does it look like for you? What do you need? Who do you need in your corner? And what do you want them to hold you accountable for? Accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results. And where are you headed? Where are you going? This is the beginning of the road. This is the beginning of the path of 2016. What direction are you headed in? And we know what direction we're heading in now, but who's going to make sure we stay on that course on February 1st, on March 15th, on April 30th, on June 1st? Who's going to make sure we are steady, on pace? We're ticking off, we're checking off. Did this, did that, this, that. 65% done, 90% done. You can do it. Where are you headed? Who's that person? Who's your cheerleader? Who's that person in the corner? Okay. So if you're ready to be held accountable, say yes, right? Positivity. If you're ready to find a community to support you, ready to gain insight and new perspective, and more importantly, if you're ready to see your goals through, say yes. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you succeed. So I get asked this a lot, Michelle, what do you do? And I say, I network, right? I like to have fun with people. I network. That's where I want to turn that into a t-shirt. And then people are like, well, how do you network? Or what do you do? How do you help people network? And what I have, or what I do as a networking coach, I help transitioning professionals. So that can be from grad school to professional, from professionals to entrepreneurs. I help those people, transitioning professionals, gain clarity, hone their message, allow them to gather a support system in order for them to reach their desired goals. Okay, so I help transitioning professionals gain clarity, hone in on their message, create a support system in order for them to reach their goals. So, what is their message? Maybe it's the elevator pitch. They either have one, they don't have one, they need to change it up, especially if you're, once again, you're that transitioning professional, so you may need something new. We examine your current support system, your current network, and then, as we've been saying, what are your goals? How are we going to reach those goals? Okay. So right now, I have an 8-week program called the Networking Path. It's group coaching. And I'm really excited about this program because I I love people. Don't get me wrong, I'm fascinated by people, but I just can't get to everyone at the same time. And in this 8 weeks, by the end of the program, you're going to be able to gain clarity on your professional outlook, create a personal brand statement, know how you need to position and promote yourself, develop a strategic networking plan that allows you to know your audience, who and where to go, right? Make connections by engaging in real conversation that leads to effortless follow up. So now when you call or send that email, you're not even reminding people of who you are, right? That conversation at that event was so tangible, they're calling you first, right? That relationship is there, that dynamic, powerful, intimate relationship there. And more importantly, but to round it off, you're going to network like a pro with purpose. So the networking path includes weekly assignments, complimentary worksheets, community access. You're going to have a core group, accountability partner to help you throughout the 8 weeks. In between that time, it's going to be a great Facebook group for group discussions, weekly mastermind group calls that can be held amongst your group, And then, of course, bi-weekly group coaching calls with me. Right. So if you have questions, you can always reach out to me via email Monday through Friday. I'll be active in the Facebook group, but you will have access to me, and don't hesitate when it comes to that. Week 1, we're going to focus on the introduction to the community. Just get all of that out there. Hey, my name is Michelle. I do this and this and this. This is where I'm at. Right. Week 2, we're going to go over your vision, goals, and money. We talked about that budget. Right. So where are you now, and how much do you want to earn? How much can I put aside in order for me to accomplish my goals, right? Whether that's this program, other professional development, networking events. What is my vision? I see it, but let me put it on paper and have someone hold me accountable. Week 3, we're going to do networking, define, and brand management. We're going to identify the elements that make up your personal brand, from brand statement to positioning. Week 4, while in the room, real conversation and active listening. We're going to explore the art of conversation, active listening, and best practices to follow up with new contacts. I get asked this a lot. Do I send an email or social media? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's one. And I'm going to show you how to do that when it comes to doing the follow-up. The best way that's suitable for you. Week 5, navigating the maze, events, organizations, conferences, and masterminds. It's about putting that strategic networking plan in place that targets the right audience, influencers, and events, once again, that allow you to reach your desired goals. Who do I need to meet? Where are they? When do I need to be there? You know why, right? So yeah, we're going to put that plan together. That way we can move you forward. Week 6, networking tools and social media. We're going to explore the best ways to manage your contacts with CRMs, customer relationship management, apps, tools, social media, and other productivity hacks. We have to be efficient in this process. We're all busy. We're always busy. We're working 40 hours, probably putting 60 hours in our business. We have our families to take care of, soccer games, football, basketball, friends to hang out with. So we have to be efficient in this process. Week 7 is the mentorship and service. Examine the dynamics of the mentor-mentee relationship. Who's that person you already look up to, you respect right now? That, hey, I believe they have great judgment, sound advice. Maybe they can be my mentor. And then on the flip side, maybe you are in position to become a mentor. And of course, how can I effectively serve my community? And then we wrap up in week 8, the networking challenge. We put all of that together. We finalize our relationship mapping, creating our success network for the ultimate challenge in order for you to move forward. The networking path. I'm very excited about this program. So, what you're probably wondering, Michelle, how much does this cost? Right? I want you to think about the value. I want you to think about the access to new people, the community, this accountability partner, myself when it comes to the coaching, right? $2,000. So you see the slide, it says $2,000, right? Now for my one-on-one coaching, my individual consultation calls, that can easily be around $2,000. But with this 8-week program, doing a special offer of $497. $497 for 8 weeks. You're going to get at least 4 coaching calls within that period from me, right? The group coaching calls. That right there is that. When I do one-on-one coaching, it's for at least 3 months. And this is just a fraction of the cost. 3 months for $1,500, and this is just a fraction of the cost, right? You're getting 2 months for a third of that price. So if you are ready to embark on this path, you can go to the networkingpath.com, or if you're familiar with my website, michellengome.com/the networking path, and you can register right now. Okay. Registration is open until January 15th, and we start on Monday, January 18th. And I will have you transform you in the next 8 weeks. Now, there's a special bonus for the first 4 people that sign up. They will receive 2 private coaching sessions by me. Right? So this is something we can knock out in the beginning before the group coaching starts. Within the first couple of weeks, we can do it during, in the middle, we can do it afterwards. But you'll get 2 private coaching sessions from me. And that's for the first 4 people that sign up. All right, so I'm about to wrap up here. Just to let you know, once again, all of my information is on michellengome.com. I have the podcast, Networking with Michelle, the book, Network, Navigate, and Nurture, that is available on Amazon. Let me back up. The podcast, that is available on iTunes, Stitcher, and of course, my website, michellengome.com/podcast. I have a course, Network, Navigate, and Nurture. That course is available. It's currently at $97. You can go to the website, networknavigateandnurture.com, or contact me and I'll be glad to send you those instructions. As stated earlier, I do the one-on-one coaching, group coaching, LinkedIn training. I can help you with your LinkedIn profile. So I'm available. I am your coach. I am your networking coach. You can contact me anytime. Once again, my website is michellengome.com. My website, my business website is line25consulting.com. And I am on any and every valuable social media platform. So that's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and Google Plus. Under my name, Michelle Ngome. It's very easy. Fortunate to be the only person with that name, a unique name. So please reach out to me and I'll be glad to assist you in the best way possible. I want you to know that a personal connection leads to an influential network. I want to thank you for your time, and I want to help you succeed in 2016 and beyond. Thank you.